Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 Map Preview video. I'll show you my map FourFields, my upcoming map FourFields, and what I did so far. And I have some questions to you. So first, I'm really busy and I'm getting along rather well, I would say. I finished all the forests around the northern and eastern edge of the map. They are not yet decorated at the edges, but I put in all the useful trees. So what we did in the Let's Map video, I completed. So that is this. The other thing you can see, there is no farm yet. I will do the farm after I installed all the selling stations and productions, and then I will build the farms, and then I will go and decorate everything. And here for the farm, I have a question to you. And I go a little bit higher, then you can see it. There are some wonderful ground textures delivered with Riverbend Springs, which is the basic map that I used. I made it flat and put all my stuff in, but yeah, the base of this is Riverbend Springs, and I have this wonderful textures for the ground, and I can't decide yet whether I like this, the left one, which is more regular, or whether I like the right one, which is more natural and irregular. And there are some spots. Just to show you, I will put some spots in either of the ground textures, that it doesn't look so sterile and like fresh from the handyman, but more lived in, and therefore I will make some spots here and there. Yeah, and I tried how it looks and whether I can make it rather thin and so. But I want to know from you which texture type do you prefer? The left one, the one that is more regular, or the irregular one at the right side, which is more natural? Please write it in the comments below this video. And as we are already here at the farm, I have another question. And by the way, the farmhouse will be one of the American farmhouses that are already in ModHub, made by me, and the ones where DJ Goham used to live in, but doesn't live anymore. Therefore, we have it to live there for us. And there are 4 versions of this house. And I thought, oh, that's useful. We have 4 farms and 4 versions of the house, and every farm will get 1 version of the house, maybe in different colors. And yeah, so this is already decided. But then here I had the red American barn that I built in FS22, that will come to FS25 as one of the next mods I will do after this map is finished. But it is rather small, and therefore I asked myself, maybe we could also use the Riverbend Springs farm. Here we have it already, this one that we have on the farm in Riverbend Springs. I could put it here, and it would be wider than the one I made. And it's still not a shed for for very large machinery. It is more a shed for small or medium-sized machinery. But I like it. It's so typical and so classic, and therefore I'd like to have such shed on the farm or a barn. And yeah, you can tell me whether you would prefer that one or the one that I made for that was already there or on the FourFields in FS22, and where I had a mod out. And yeah, this mod will come to FS25 anyhow. Yeah, but now the question is this one or the one I made myself. Or maybe even rather not a nice one, but a useful big one. Yeah, where you can, but I don't know whether we have useful big ones that would be. This is too small. This is too big. Yeah, and they are not so cute and nice and typical American-like and so. So, just tell me what would you like, my one or the Riverbend Springs. Oh, and here you can see I already brought the ship onto the map. Here, and I used the Riverbend Springs ship to have it more modern. And not modern from the style of the ship, but modern from the version of Farm Sim where I took it from, because the old one, I guess it was from FS19 or so, from Felsbrunn. And this one is from an American map. Yeah. So, and here we are already in the area where I have my third question to you. This is the area where I made quite a lot of grape plants. And in the beginning I had a whole long area full with this, but people who tested it said it's too much work, you can never finish it. It was torture, and then I thought, okay, then I make it smaller, and only half of this area was filled with grapes, and I still had the impression that it was not used so often, because harvesting grapes is really tedious, and it's more for a very tiny, small vineyard, and not in an area where you have huge fields and you have your big machinery and so it doesn't match in a way. On a small map with smaller fields it would match much better. And now I wonder whether I will plant grapes at all, or maybe just leave this area empty for you to build whatever you want to build. Or maybe place one huge garden. There will be 2 gardens like of the huge ones, the 20 times as productive and huge like the normal greenhouses gardens that are still waiting and mod up. And I will add 2 of them to the map like it was in FS22. I could put a third of those gardens here. And the area, let's have a look at the map. It is rather big here. So this is on a normal map, it would be a huge area, so to say. It's nearly 6 hectares, and you could do quite a lot there. And so if there would be a garden, it would be just a little tiny place of this garden. And the other gardens will be, I think this is one, yeah. And then on the other side of the map. So that was the third question, grapes or no grapes. And here with the village, I could import the fences from the old map, which was very, very good because it's so tedious to place those fences, and that worked quite well, better than expected. And so there are some things that are better than expected. Also the traffic. I just imported the splines and said, hey, you are the traffic now. And yeah, the cars are driving like they should. And this is wonderful. And we also have people there. I have to modify their routes where they are going, but they are doing nicely. So that was easy. And other things are more difficult than I expected, which is normal because I have never converted a map up to now. I always made new maps. And so with the conversion, I have to make new experiences. And some of the experiences are good and easy, and others are tedious and more complicated. And one complicated topic is if I had used buildings and objects from the base game of FS22, then I could use the textures that were built in the game in FS22. And now those textures are no more available. Some basic ones, yes, like window textures and such, but all the specific textures for the buildings, they are no more available in FS25, which is normal. And I could bring all the old buildings from FS22 back to the map, but then the map size would be very, very big. And especially for console players, this is a really big problem. And even for PC players that don't have a huge PC with a beefy a hard disk and so, it's still a problem if a map is too big and the download time takes long and so forth. Therefore, I try to make the map as small as possible. I don't think it will be really small in the end, but I try to make it not too big. Yeah, therefore I try to bring in as many buildings from FS25 as possible, because then I can use the textures of the base game. And here we are, and it is not so easy to find nice buildings in Riverbend Springs, I must admit. There are some wonderful buildings, those paper factory and the spinnery. They are fantastic and beautiful. But they are not only huge, but they are completely fitted for the mountainous area. So with creek running at the spinnery, and the whole building doesn't make any sense without the creek, and with a hill here and a hill there, and this map here is more or less flat. So most of the production buildings and selling stations don't work on different maps other than Riverbend Springs, or you tailor your map around those buildings. That would work, but here it should be rather flat and not so much place. Yeah, and therefore it's not so easy. This is the thing where I have to think about and count the texture files that I include in the map and decide what to do, and that takes quite a lot of time. Yeah, and here we are at a result of one of those thinking sessions. Here we have the bakery from Riverbend Springs, and I find it rather ugly. But to be honest, the bakery, the American bakery from FS22, was not very beautiful either. And so then I thought, okay, I just go for it. I take it. And it's already working. I will make some parking lots here, but without cars, because if we would have cars here, it would be difficult to drive around. You have to deliver your stuff there, and you have to go here with a pallet trailer to get your stuff. So you really need to be able to drive around here. But it should look like a parking place, and maybe a little less of this dirty areas there. Still some dirt, yes, but not so much. And then I thought I make a parking area over here, because we don't need this area, and I put those cars over there, and then there we can have all the cars. They don't disturb us. And here nobody is parking, and we can roam around. Maybe in the center some flowers or such, that if you really so that you can drive around usually, but if you are in a problem with your driving, then you can just drive through the flowers without destroying anything, and it wouldn't look so empty. And here this grocery store is really gross, I think, but it's better than everything else. I thought maybe I change the signs a little bit here, maybe, and I want to add some tables outside with like shelves with some vegetables that you could think about. Okay, here I could buy some vegetables, and therefore maybe not ice bag and fishing bait here, but maybe vegetables plus fishing bait. I will think about it. And this for rent should be removed, because it should be alive. They don't have so many grocery stores here. We don't need empty shops. Yeah, so this would be the shopping center of the FourFields area. We have a barber, and we have those fancy toy thingies. Yeah, so that's about making the best out of the buildings that I find in Riverbend Springs. Yeah, the houses are ready, waiting for me to have time to decorate them. The fences are there. But I thought it's more important now to bring all the functionality to the map, and then I want to make the farms, and then I take the time to decorate the village and everything else. Here we had the former huge grocery store, That was from FS22. And I think I will find other things that I can build here. Some selling station, production buildings and such. And here we have the tailor. I like it. It looks okay. Yeah, and it's already working, which is good. And here, that made me very, very happy. This cute ship was easy to import, and I think it fits perfectly here. We have a rather calm river, and therefore this ship restaurant is just perfect. And I placed it close to the camping ground where all the holiday people can come over and have their dinner here. And it's a sailing station, like in Riverbend Springs. Yeah, and this is a building where I would say, yes, this is nice, this is perfect. And yeah, made me happy. This is not so nice, but somehow it belonged to this, and so I just kept it. Okay, here we have the camping ground, the non-existing. Because of all this texture size thingy, I thought I will build the holiday homes myself with textures that I already use on this map. And yeah, this is rather straightforward. So, because the buildings just can be easy, no walk-in, that would take too long for the time being. Just nice houses, all the same type here, like top, like there were. And you can earn money with those if you buy the lot. And then here we had some central buildings, like all the restrooms and washrooms and things like that, and an area where you could sit and picnic, so have some food. I will take the same textures than I used for the holiday homes. And then it's cheap according to the megabytes of download, and it's cheap slot-wise. So for slots, it's always good if you use the same textures. And then it looks all harmonious. Good. It looks good. And I think we will have some tents as well. They don't need huge textures. Okay, this will be quite some work. I was looking at it today and thought, too many different textures from FS22. I should build it myself. And I'm looking forward to it. It will take some hours, but yeah, it will be a lot of fun. I love to build simple houses and such. Okay, so that's the camping ground. And there will be a selling station as we had. And the playground, which will be there again, I will use playground stuff from FS25 because of the textures and such. So, and here we have the dealership, and somehow we have a little problem here. I don't know how it happened. So first, this is the dealership, and it's working already. And now we have the possibility to let people stand somewhere. That was not possible in FS22 officially, but I and other modders, we put invisible walls in front of the pedestrians, and then they were standing there, and now we can do this officially. And therefore I was able to put someone who works in this Clever Motors shop, and behind the counter. And I was able to put someone inside as a client. And now this guy made some fancy things. I have to check on this, because that is not how it should be. And I have someone here that is working here. And he doesn't really work, he is more admiring his machinery, but this will be the workshop. It is not yet, but soon. And then we come to my fourth question to you. Here we have Grandpa Walter. And for obvious reasons, Grandpa Walter won't live in one of the farms, because all the farms should be, it should be possible to remove all the buildings and build them yourself completely. And therefore no Grandpa Walter, because you can't remove Grandpa Walter. And therefore I thought, okay, then he needs to be somewhere else. I like him to be here, because he is a little bit better in a way. He just always looks at you, no matter where you are standing. And you could talk to him if you want. So I want to have him and his friends in the map, but not at the farm. And I thought maybe I just place him here at the dealership, or maybe he could move to the camping ground, maybe working there as the owner of the camping ground. And yeah, you could talk to him there. And I think it's more relaxed for him to live on a farm. Yeah, so where should I put Grandpa Walter? Where do you want him to live? Okay, let's go on. This is my very short and fast preview video. Imagine if I would have a 4X map, a very detailed one. Then I would keep you up 10 hours with my short preview video. Here we have the farmer's market. And it is like in Riverbend Spring. I will bring some people here. That is something that I will do, like in the shop, but not the one that is in the door, but more the other ones, like they are in Riverbend Springs. So some people standing here as a vendor and others roaming around. But this farmer's shop will stay like it is in Riverbend Springs. So usually rather empty, apart from some people, and maybe I can put some decorative stuff here, but not too much. And if you have watched me doing my little farm shop, which is full with a complex system of fill planes that fill up and switch in between each other and 3D objects, and so I won't do this for this version of the FourFields. I will just use this as it is, because if I would try to bring this more full version into this building, it would take 2 weeks or so. It is rather big. And in 2 weeks the map should be finished. I want it at ModHub, or at least uploaded to ModHub in 2 weeks of time. So no time to do this at the moment. But what I'm planning is, when the map is at ModHub, and I'm working on mods again, I anyhow wanted to make a big farmer's market like my little farm shop, but in huge, like this one, in an American version, and two different German versions, one with southern German farm building type and one with northern building type, and with the selling options like we have here, but in the decorative level like in my little farm shop, but full this whole thing. It will be quite a lot of work to do this, but I'm looking forward to it. And maybe if I do it nicely, it will be included in a lot of maps. That would be awesome, I guess. Because like that, it's somewhat sad that it's always so empty. And if I could offer a better version of this, and especially for the Germans, there is no German farmers market with this technology. Then maybe you could find it in several different maps, and I would be happy about this. Okay, so this is about the farmers market. So first version like that, later version self-made and very nicely. But what I just say, see this decal at the top with all the vegetables. This is quite nice. Maybe I can use it for my own version. Or I make one that is as nice as that one. So, now, let's go on. Here, this village is the same, will be done after the farms are done. And here, I just implemented my windmill. And there I had to learn a lot. It took quite a while, because we have a new placeable system for maps. And I was trying whether I could find out how it works for my own buildings. And after several hours, I found out that I can't find out right now. And that I just use the old system. And I'm happy that the old system still works. And I use the new system for all the giants object, like the tailor. There it's really easy to handle, but for my own buildings it didn't work at all. And this was something where it took longer than expected, which is okay, I think. Okay, now here we have a new feature that was rather easy to implement. It still took a while to understand how it works, but no bigger problems. And maybe you know, in Riverbend Springs at the animal dealer there are animals, different kinds of animals that are just roaming around. They don't have an official barn with trough and such. They just are there in their pastures. And usually that was a problem to integrate into a map in FS17, 19, 22, because we have a limit. We only may have up to 10 barns on one map or save game. And when you had 4 different animal types at the animal dealer, you have only 6 more barns for your real animals. And now they have a function for a simple, well, I don't know how they call it, I forgot it, but simple, it's very simple. And they are no real barns with trough and food that they eat. It's just a plain where a certain type of animals may roam around. Yeah, and I thought that would be nice. First I made it for the cows. I will show them to you in a minute. And then I thought, okay, it works with the cows. Now I try to make a whole pasture, an open one, for the sheep. Because that is how sheep are kept in Europe. I don't know how it is in America, but I really loved the idea to have free roaming sheep. I mean, sheep without a real fence, but they don't roam around free. There is one area that I set up for them. Yeah, and it worked. So here we have the sheep and goats, and what animals I get happens randomly. So I can't say I want to have 3 white sheep and 2 brown ones and 3 goats. But on this meadow I get between 3 and 5 sheep or goat animals, and they change ever so often. So now we have a goat there and 2 rather dark sheep, and I think there I have seen even more sheep. Someone is maying there. Here we have 2 more. So those are quite a bunch now. And I thought, that they don't run away. I place Katie here, the animal woman. And I'm planning on building her a hut, or maybe the shepherd's wagon that we have in FS19 for the chicken. Yeah, and I like the idea to have Katie here. And there we have the barn, how it was in FS22. And we have some cows. And sometimes it's only 3 cows, sometimes there's a buffalo in between. Right now I count 4 cows. So it changes, and I like it. I really, really like this function. Okay, and later you will be able to sell your straw, hay and such here, but that's not yet implemented. Okay, now let's go to our next part, and don't worry, not much more to show. Here will be a place for one of those gardens, and here will be the universal selling station where you can sell more or less all your stuff. That there is one selling station where you get rid of all the stuff, even modded stuff, if it is correctly assigned to one of the typical fill type groups or categories like product or bulk or so, which is normal. In most of the times, modder say, okay, this product is a product, and then you can sell it here. And I thought I'd try to make a buying station here, and maybe even one of these where you can buy pallets. But that would be something that I would make rather in the end of my work. So only when everything else is done, then I would try to make a warehouse. That's the name. Yeah, and we should have, maybe I have the gas station at the dealership. That would be fitting, I think. Okay, so that's about it. There I have a rather ugly FS25 grain mill, and I wanted to show you something completely different, and therefore I just go a little bit higher, that we have this FourFields impression. And Yeah, I already said that I make only an American version because for America this four-field type map is rather realistic. And I have been at, let's see here, I've been at Google Maps before, or rather Google Earth in this case, and had a look at it when you told me at the release at FourFields FS25. Some people told me, yeah, this is completely realistic. In the north of Texas and such, we have a lot of those fields. And yeah, I saw them already then on Google Earth. And now I went back there to have a look at it again and how vast this area is where they have such fields, lot of them. And I was really surprised. It starts in the north of Texas and then it goes all the way up everywhere where the land is rather flat. We have those square fields, and usually they are grouped in four, and yeah, and they have the same size than my fields on FourFields. So unknowingly I made a completely realistic map with the same size than the fields in reality have, and it goes up to southern Canada, everywhere where the area is flat. And I think that they have those 800-meter size, like my fields, because of in America they like to make the roads every mile. And a mile, when you cut it in two, you get this 800 meters. This is half a mile. And so they make one road, a mile further another road. And then in between, they have two fields. And when they square it up, it's just 4 fields everywhere. And here you see it. Those are not completely like 4 fields. You see down there it's a little bit divided and up there too. But when we go further, we see this same 4 fields again. And here you can see this typical road. So there is one road that is a little bit bigger, and at the other side there is a rather small road, but still a road, and then on top is a road, and down there and in between you have the 4 fields. And it goes for hundreds and hundreds of miles through the whole America, but only in the central area where the area is rather flat. But not all fields are in this square shape and 4 grouped together. Rather often you see them, here you can see it down there, they are round fields. The shape of the area is still square, but in between they are round. And this is from the watering system, and this watering goes round and round and round. And it has just the size of the field, but because it goes round, you have a round field. And in the corners, I think very often it is not cultivated. So maybe you just have some grass there or so. And yeah, and there are a lot of areas where we have a lot of those roundish fields, and then groups of 4 fields again, like here and like here. Here you see in between all those round fields there are a group of 4 fields again. And this here is already in Canada. So I made screenshots wandering up from Texas up to Canada. And here you see the typical little creeks in the fields from Saskatchewan. I can't pronounce this word, but maybe you know this map Edgewater, Saskatchewan, and they had this little creeks in the fields. But here in this case, FourFields again, only with little creeks. Yeah, and I really find this amusing and fascinating, that my map FourFields is a very realistic map for America. Yeah, and somehow it makes me happy. I made it because of the idea I wanted to give huge fields to console players. That was the idea why I started this map. And to know that it is rather realistic is fantastic. Okay, so now again my 4 questions, and I would be happy if you say something about it. The first is, which ground type at the farm, the more regular pattern or the irregular natural pattern? Then about the barn, my self-built barn or the Riverbend Springs FS25 barn. Then the grapes. Do you want grapes at all at this place down there at the main farm? And where should Walter live? Okay, I will keep on working. My next task is to fill it up with all these functional buildings like selling stations and productions. And when this is done, I'll start working on the farms, and I think maybe then I will make the next Let's Map video. And yeah, when the farms are done, I will concentrate on making all beautiful, that it looks as nice as possible. And I hope I'm fast enough to bring it to ModHub, or to upload it first at ModHub in the beginning of next month. That would be awesome. Wish me good luck. Okay then. If you want to buy FS25 or a DLC, feel free to use my code OMATANA. You'll find the link for the PC version in the video description. It doesn't cost you anything extra and supports me a lot. Now I wish you a wonderful day, thank you for watching, and all the best till next time. Tschüss!